Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome out to another episode of Courtney, Kaz, and Queen. And as always, I am Kaz.
And I'm Queen.
This is episode 49 as we inch closer to the end of season 2. Next week is going to be the season finale of season 2. We've made it through 2 seasons. We made it through 50 episodes. And I got to tell you, when we first started off doing this thing, I didn't know how I was going to go. Because at any moment, my wife could just get up and say, hey, you know what? I'm not doing it anymore.
The things that you say out of your mouth.
Hey, listen, I'm just being real here. These are conversations that take place in the privacy of our own home.
Like that.
Segue. In the privacy of our own home that we bring to you guys, sometimes to make you laugh, sometimes to make you think, to be introspective, but most of all, we want to open the lines of communication because it's what we do inside of our home. So we thought that these conversations are interesting enough to bring to you guys. All right. As always, you can follow us on all streaming services. You can check us out on all streaming services: Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play Music, Amazon, Buzzsprout. And of course, you can check us out on Black with No Chaser Radio. All right. So make sure that you download the BWNC app. Download the BWNC app on the Google Play Store or the iTunes Store. Check us out there every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And then there's a replay on Thursday. And it's a lot of great podcasts on that app that you can check out, of course. So make sure that you do that. And if you like seeing our bright, shiny faces, you know what you can do. Just come right here, youtube.com/Brad Kamikaze Franklin. When I put my finger right there, boom, you know what it is. youtube.com/Brad Kamikaze Franklin. We're inching our way up to 900 subscribers. So make sure that you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching us right now, okay, and if you like what you have been hearing and you've been following us regularly, please make sure that you share this video, all right? Or at least share the links to go to Spotify or wherever you might listen to your podcast. Share it with somebody. Spread the good word. Tell them to subscribe to the YouTube page. It takes like 30 seconds for you to be able to do that, all right? So please make sure that you do that. Check that out. Of course, this is brought to you by the Kundi Collective, www.kundicollective.com. Got on one of the shirts right here. This is one of my favorites right here. Bye-bye, Father, because that is what I am. And it is probably, one of my proudest duties that I love the most in being a father to the young ones, the little ones and the big ones, the grown ones and the little ones, TLO, of course. So you can go to www.kundicollective.com and you can check that out and make sure you're following us on all of the social media platforms too. All of that, getting all of that out the way. You know what it is. We're inching closer to the end of season 2. A lot of good stuff going on, a lot of crazy stuff going on in the news. They did arrest Carly.
She turned herself in.
Okay. Took a pretty weird mugshot from what I saw. Hey, listen. I don't know what's going on in Carly's head, but whatever's going on in there, it is a party, and she's having a fantastic time. Whatever's going on, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if she's...
I am so tickled. You are tickling me.
I don't know if she's grasping... when she was taking a mud shot, sometimes I don't know, was she grasping the severity of what was going on in that moment. I don't know if she got it or not. And I guess sometimes if you're taking your mug shot in jail, I think sometimes maybe you do need to disconnect from reality a little bit.
This wouldn't be the thing that disconnected her from reality.
I think she's disconnected far earlier than this particular instance. But, she took a mug shot. She found joy in it. But I was also looking at, I think, the joy that some people were getting for her being arrested and the possibility of her going to jail. I think there's a little bit too much exuberance from a lot of people for her to go to jail. I don't understand what your insistence is that she does jail time. Because a lot of you, if we're being honest, a lot of you got some kinfolk and some family and some friends who are out there doing real crimes out on the street, being complete menaces to the community. All right. As they said in Black Dynamite, they're selling drugs to the community, and you are campaigning every day for them to not go to jail.
T-shirts, free, blah, blah, blah.
Free, blah, blah, blah. You don't want them to have any parts of jail at all whatsoever, and they clearly out there breaking the law. But yet you have made posts and campaigned for Carly Russell to go to jail for this particular incident. There needs to be some type of punishment. I think she needs to understand that, you just can't do these things in a civilized society. But jail time is not one of them. But I mean, I know you were kind of following it and you were seeing it. So now that we know the true story and we know everything that's happened, what do you think should happen?
I think she needs a mental evaluation. I think something's not right. She needs some healing somewhere. And I think that in this country, especially in our community, we just kind of default away from that, like it's not an option. And that's always been an issue for me, even back to, and we don't have to go down this road, but we discussed this when we talked about R. Kelly and Chris Brown. Mm-hmm. Like, I just believe that people need to, I've even said that I think law enforcement needs to have some sort of evaluation before they go, in, as a part of their training. Like, people, this is not just a cry for help. This is, her mugshot was another indication that she's not
altogether
attached to the reality that the rest of us are in. Mm-hmm. And I think that from the reaction of her parents, she is probably not being supported in the way of the understanding that there is something that's clicking in an imbalanced way. Her mother initially just came to her aid and just believed everything she said, and at least publicly. And I haven't seen or heard anything about her getting any mental help. I think that's what she needs. And I don't think that filling the prison system or jail system with people who commit crimes because they are not functioning properly mentally is the way to go. Yeah. Like, that's not really doing anything. It's just throwing her away. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that our community being detached from that simple methodology is really crippling and destructive. So
yeah, on one of my other radio shows, I was speaking with a while back, speaking with some of the candidates for constable and some of the candidates for sheriff. And, we are in Jackson, Mississippi, and our county is Hinds County. And the sitting sheriff right now, Tyree Jones, one of the things that he was saying that was very, very necessary, at least in the sheriff's department, was the need for mental health intervention or having some type of interventionist when people are arrested. I think that is an aspect of law enforcement that gets looked over. I think it's one that, you definitely need to have people, on call for that.
Oh, that needs to happen before they even get hired.
Yes, but,
but definitely
before, of course, before people are arrested, there should be, before they get to that point, there should be some type of intervention. But, they're arresting people in a lot of instances, especially when you get these calls.
Oh, you mean the people that they are arresting?
Yes.
Need to have some sort of.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes. Because they're arresting people that are homeless, people that are out on the streets, the people that you see walking up and down the sidewalk, and they may be talking to themselves.
Well, see, those people can't pay for the service.
Right.
So there's no money coming into the state that they would be. So It's not worth their while.
So, and he was saying how important it is because in a lot of instances, these people are continuously getting out and getting back on the streets and coming back into these jail cells because they've got mental illnesses. And mental illness, ladies and gentlemen, is a very real thing. And I can't stress that enough. You constantly see people, and there's, one particular clown that always comments, on posts like this and comments on my post and, oh, y'all are falling for it. Carly knows exactly what she's doing. We need to stop having sympathy for these people when they're just dumb. Well, I mean, if you look at this particular instance, I mean, I get it. If that's your opinion, that's great. But you can look at these actions. You can look at what's happening here. You can look at the mugshot. You can look at all of this as has occurred, and you can tell that there is something there. Even if there is not severe mental illness, there is at least a cry for help and a disconnect. Something is going on in that young lady's life that, led her to think that this was something that she could do and that's something that she needed to do, or even fathom, doing something to the level that this got to. And, she didn't think that it was going to get blown out of proportion like it was. She didn't think it was going to become a national story. I'm
not sure about that.
Maybe she did. At the end of the day.
The way people are clickbaiting around here, I mean, you can't really necessarily just say that. I mean, people do a whole lot of things to get some likes and clicks.
They do. I do. Put a pin in that. I do want to touch on that a little bit later, but mental illness is a real thing. Mental health is a real thing. People are not always just doing things because they're dumb, and they're not always just doing things because they're trying to get likes and clicks, and they're not always just, they don't always, quote unquote, know what they're doing, and you guys need to stop giving them attention. There are some people that actually, on a small scale and a large scale have a mental illness, and something needs to happen. There needs to be some level of analyzing. There needs to be some level of therapy that's there. There needs to be some level of understanding where Carly's head was at. And we have not heard from her yet. I don't know if we ever will in a setting where you can answer these questions, but, at this point, she's home, she's safe. She's going to be punished in some shape, form, or fashion for what she did. So for me, it's kind of over with. But if she decides to speak and say what was going through her mind at the time, I'm sure that'll be another viral moment then. But something in her head, with anybody.
Even if, let's just say for argument's sake, that she was doing all of this for clickbait or because she needed attention, even if that's the case, the measures and levels that she went to figure out how to operate within this plan to get this in motion still is an indication that there is something there that's not right there.
Yeah, there's something there.
Something is not connecting properly because of the, internet searches that she made. Who comes up with I see a little toddler. You want to disappear for 2 days. Where did the toddler come from? All of that is not, coincidental. Like, she had a whole plan to even think that way is a problem. So I'm just not going for the she's dumb thing. That's just kind of...
It's dismissive.
It's dismissive, definitely, and it certainly lacks compassion.
It does.
I'm not going to get back into that because I feel like I talk about that all the time, but the lack of compassion is troubling.
Yes, it is. I mean, I think really at the end of the day, when you look at what's going on social media now, any of the people that you see doing the outlandish shit that you see them doing, there's a young lady that I see on social media all the time. It's a prank. And she goes up to people and she asks them, you want to get put to sleep. You want to go to sleep. And she goes up to them like she's, like she got some smoke with them. So she goes up to them, you want to go to sleep? You want to go night-night? And then, people have begun, a couple of people are like, whatever. But then there's some people who actually like, what's up? And then when they approach her, she pulls out this bottle of NyQuil and says, no, I just want to know if you want to.
Girl, you playing with your life.
She's playing with your life. That is a mental illness. That is someone that young lady, whoever she is, she needs to go for a mental evaluation because there's something wrong with her. Like on small levels and on large levels, it's not just, somebody making up a story that disappeared for a couple of days, but, to go out in the world when anything could happen to you and to go up to people and do these things for the sake of a prank and for the sake of likes and views, that is a mental illness. Yeah. In my opinion, anybody.
Because I know plenty of people you can ask that question to, and they're not gonna answer you with nothing but these powers.
And it happened a couple of times, and she ran off, and she had to kind of tell folks, hey, when it escalates, in some instances, they got to hurry up and say, hey, it's a prank, it's a prank, it's a prank, so that they can diffuse the situation. Because it's some people they approach, and immediately it's what's up. Immediately is hands. Like, I don't even understand why you want to go out into the world and even risk that. Is it that important for likes and clicks and views for you to go out and risk your safety and your livelihood? Because everybody don't play like that. So to me, that's a mental illness, really, at the end of the day. But I want to talk about this before we kind of get back to that. I sent you the inbox, the gentleman that had the video, that he had been corresponding with this young lady for a couple of weeks, and he was supposed to meet up with her. He had flowers, he had all of this stuff, and she ended up standing him up. And he made this video, and I had to go and check his page because he's a comedian. So I had to go and check his page, but he does do comedy, but it also appears that he might be kind of disabled a little bit, I think. Before I talk about these things, I make sure that I go to do my research, because I wanted to make sure, first of all, that this wasn't staged, because we're talking about people who are staging things for likes and views. So it doesn't appear to be staged. It appears to be genuine, but he is a comedian, full disclosure. I went to his TikTok page. He's got videos where he's, kind of doing some stitches, looking at other videos and commenting on it and making funny comments. And of course, he's got videos of himself actually doing his stand-up act. So I think
was he funny?
Moderately. Okay. But he had a post saying that, he feels alive when he's on stage. He's at home when he's on stage. But I think he has some type of physical ailment. I think I'm not exactly sure. I had to go back and look again just to be sure. If any of you guys know, if any of y'all did any research, all of you Twitter detectives out there, let me know. Comment in the comments and let me know. But I watched the video, and I've seen the reactions to it, the good and the bad reactions. I sent it to you, and it instantly touched you. I just want to get your reactions to it, because, people are now like, this is a good guy. This is what happened. A lot of guys are like, this is what happens to good guys. This is what happens to the good guys who try to do everything right. They can't get a woman. And then there were some ladies who was like, he's being a weirdo and he's being creepy. It's a lot of different takes that people get off of videos on the internet. But I want to get your take on it.
Well, everybody's individual take comes from their own life experience, which gives them their perspective on people, places, things, emotions, how they approach life, how they approach relationships, all of that. So it's going to be an individual response. Just so happens that there's so many people commenting that you're going to get the same response over and over again. But everybody's life experience, the road that we travel, is individual. And you get to whatever it is that you feel about things or people or relationships based on that experience, individual experience of your own. This guy was basically saying that, he doesn't know what to do. He's a good guy. He just wants to be in love. And this girl had agreed to go out on a date with him, a nice restaurant. He made reservations. And 30 minutes in, he was eating by himself, and she didn't show up. He had flowers and all of this. What touched me about that was him opening up that much, being that vulnerable so publicly. I know that's not an easy thing to do. I chose to believe him and to believe the experience that he had. Yeah. I reserve the right to say that because this is the world that we live in, it might not come back later that he made the whole thing up. I reserve the right to then have a different opinion. Right. But in the moment, I chose to believe him, and I connected with his pain, and it's a lot of people out there that feel that way, and a lot of people out there that put themselves out there in a vulnerable type of way. So I was just kind of sad for him to have that experience. And I am troubled by some of the comments that I saw. I didn't research as far as you did, because for me, once I felt something, it wasn't really nothing else for me to research. But, saying that he's a weirdo, there's probably a chick who likes a certain kind of guy.
Right.
That name, the tag that she put on him doesn't necessarily fit to a woman who's looking for a guy like that, a sensitive guy, a guy who is emotional. A lot of us ask for that from our men, and then when we get it, it's strange. It's weird. It's, not what we're used to. So it just goes to show that we are just lacking empathy and compassion in our community, and it's really sad.
It's some very terrible human beings out there, very bad, miserable human beings out there, and it's unfortunate that social media has kind of highlighted that. If by chance you're watching this, sir, whoever you are, people that might know him, my heart went out to him, because of course it takes a lot. It takes a lot to be that vulnerable these days on social media. And I felt bad for him just simply because I have no respect for, and I have zero tolerance for just a no call, no show. Whether it's at work, whether it's on a project, whether it's on a project, date, whatever it is, I just have very little respect for a no call, no show. Standing somebody up, telling that person, whoever it is, male, female, boss, employee, whoever it is, telling them that their time is not valuable, telling them that your time is more valuable than theirs, telling them that they are not worth you at least showing up. It's disrespectful. Just make a phone call. If for some reason you did some research and you went and you saw what he looked like and you decided that he wasn't your type, or you decided that this is not somebody that you wanted to actually pursue a relationship with, then just do the human thing and just say, hey, if you have to call and say, hey, something came up, at the very least call and say that you're not going to make it. Don't have somebody sitting at
3 words. I'm not coming.
That's
you
it.
Ain't got to answer nothing else after that point. I'm not coming. I don't even like the idea of being late, because that is a disrespect to my time.
And if y'all been talking for 2 weeks, he says they've been having a 2 week, 2 weeks of conversations, 2 weeks worth of conversations. I don't know if they had a chance to actually see each other, or if this was on the phone, or if they were corresponding via social media. I don't think we got that background. There's a lot of things, a lot of questions that come up in this. How was the communication taking place? But 2 weeks. And for him to say, let's meet and let's have a date, and he sets the date, sets the time, sets the place, and he shows up and he's there and he's eating by himself, and you didn't even have the respect to just call and say, hey, I'm not coming. I'm not really feeling it, or I'm not comfortable, or whatever the case is, whatever the reason is. Standing somebody up is just absolutely the worst. You have to be a shit human being to just stand somebody up. And I don't care who it is.
And he clearly is, a feelings on the sleeve type of guy. Yeah. So if she's been talking to him for 2 weeks, she knew that. I just kind of feel like what it probably was something we've already discussed, which is you're trying to get a chick that is not the chick that you need to be trying to get.
This was not the one for you, brother.
Yeah.
She was not for you. You were not for her. She doesn't deserve you. Y'all are not supposed to be together. You will find someone, and I know there are a lot of people out there that are looking for love, aggressively looking for love and wanting for love. Love will find you. And the person who wants to be with you will find you, and it will happen organically, and before you know it, y'all will be together. It will be a perfect fit. This person will not stand you up. They will show up, and they will show you the love and the affection that you are looking for, and it's going to happen because you're genuinely a good person. I will say my own experience, and I will be transparent with y'all. I mean, I haven't been stood up on a date before, a date, but I've been stood up on I've been stood up on some smash dates before. I have. They didn't come. They didn't show up. I have.
Are you having a real emotional experience?
No.
Oh,
I'm not.
I was going to say, baby, you was married now.
That was good, wasn't it? That was good. Acting, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
God. I was finna go find that chick.
Oh no, man! It's happened a few times actually. I have. I've gotten hotel rooms, paid for the hotel rooms, showed up to the hotel rooms, had everything ready to roll, and did not show up. No call, no show.
Now, was it because she couldn't come or she was standing you up?
Well, I got stood up. I don't think it was an instance. I don't know. I'd never heard from him.
Ever again?
Later on. And then it was like, oh, something came up. That's happened before.
Well,
Players fuck up.
If something really came up, they would call you and tell you.
Maybe it didn't. Or maybe it did.
I mean, under those circumstances, it's very clear what y'all come to do. You done agreed to it. It's money being spent. Like,
look at man, when I bought the hotel room and bought the good hotel room.
The good hotel.
The good hotel room. All right. I done went and got the good hotel room. I'm not talking about
the Momo.
I'm not talking about the motel. Okay. I ain't went and got in the motel waiting for a couple of hours. I done went to, you know what I'm saying, the hotel. You know what I'm talking about? I done went there.
Hotel?
Yeah. Hotel. I went and I got the hotel. Snacks laid out.
Snacks?
Liquor.
You got snacks?
Liquor up in there. I got all of the party favors because we is finna get busy. And didn't show up at all. Didn't show up, period. That has happened also, at apartments before. I've been stood up, but they were never dates.
Meaning they weren't people that you were looking to build something with.
These were smash dates. All of these were smash dates that I got stood up on.
Smash dates. Being stood up for smash dates.
It's not quite the same thing.
Easier than a real date.
Luckily,
for you.
For me, none of them were dates where like, ooh, I like you, you like me. Let's go out. We're gonna go to the movies. I'm gonna come and pick you up. That guy, and then then I was driving. When I was going on dates, then I was actually going and picking the women up. So there was never an instance where I went to the house and they weren't there. Like a no call, no show on a pickup. Like I'm picking you up and you not there. Stand up. That'd have been horrible. That's tough to come back from. So on the dates instances when I was going on dates, I was going to pick the young lady up. So, luckily she was there each of the times that I arrived.
So
to pick her
do
up.
you recognize that your position on this particular incident with this young man is shaped by your life experience?
Yes, but I have the life experience of business deals, social settings, all of those things, not just dates. I abhor people who stand people up for any reason. I've been stood up in business and in social settings. You've been stood up before. People just didn't show up and called later on and just was like, my bad. I forgot.
When I first started doing Queen sessions, I remember we had this conversation because initially I was not making people pay beforehand. And I was scheduling and they would throw my whole day off because I go through a whole ritual to try to prepare to put myself in a good place to stand in the gap for people when they coming to me. So I done did all this work and people were not showing up. And I was not only losing time, but money as well, because I couldn't book somebody else in that spot because they were supposed to be there and they wouldn't come. And I was devastated because I didn't want to make them. First of all, I had a problem with the payment thing, just anyway, but I'm over that. But yeah, so in any faction of life, be honorable. Just be honorable. Be an honorable person.
Makes me mad.
It's nothing because you literally are saying, and it's the same thing with being late as hell. You literally are saying, I don't care about your time. You might as well just walk up to me and smack me in the face. And I will never be able to be the same and offer my time with you again because you are not respectful of my time. What I have to do to plan to add you to my day should be recognized and appreciated because I'm going to give you that same amount of courtesy.
It's just you're a shit human being for standing people up. It makes me mad. I want to fight people when they do it. Even, you've told me your story, and I still get mad when I think about it. I still get mad.
You were definitely a little bit more angry than I was.
That dude to this day, and I think you told me who it is. If I see him, I might want to fight him.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I thought we were still talking about the other thing.
You know what? The high school thing.
Oh, yeah, that was horrible.
I want to fight that dude. I want to fight him, and it wasn't even me. I want to fight him.
So I'll tell the story because I'm over it now, but it took a long time. So one of my years of high school prom, there was this guy that I was really, really into. I was digging him heavily. Basically went between two dudes in high school, and not the sexual way, but just, in high school, you have a boyfriend this week, next week, blah, blah, blah. So he was the one that I was really digging. And we decided to go to the prom together. First of all, I had to ask him to go. He did not ask me. That is the truth. He did not ask me. I asked him. He agreed. But he said, I can't go because, or did he say, I would take you to the prom, but I can't afford it? Whatever he said, I got my brother to take him to get a tux. My brother bought my corsage that I took to him to give to me on the day of the prom. My brother loaned me his car. No, he was supposed to come and pick me up. I went and got a dress, did all the formal prom thing. The night of the prom, did not show up, did not call, did not say anything to me about it. My friend girl came to my house and took me to the prom with her, and she was just emphatic about me not missing the prom because of this. So I get to the prom. This fella walks into the prom with another girl with my corsage on. Is that how to say it? Mm-hmm. In the tux that my brother bought. To this day, he apologized a couple of years ago for it, but
a couple of years ago,
yeah, that was yeah.
From high school,
it might have been
3 or 4. It was well past
5.
High school, though.
Yeah. I was real good and grown by then. But I was devastated by that, and nobody ever talked about it. But I'm sure maybe he never told anybody because the crew that I hung with probably would have kind of slayed me for that, but nobody ever said anything. So maybe he kept it private, but he definitely did that. It definitely affected me, and kind of made me add it on to most of the issues that I have with trusting dudes or had with trusting dudes and believing that anybody could be about what they say.
I'm gonna fight that dude right now.
It was a shit thing to do.
He showed up to the prom with another girl.
With my corsage on and the tux that my brother bought him.
And you should have called your brother, actually. And he should have came up there and
I was so embarrassed. Ain't no telling what my brother would have did.
Yes, exactly. It needed to be some shit going down at that. That should have been a prom that everybody remembered. That would have been the prom year that everybody remembered, that prom. And whoever this was getting his ass whooped by somebody's big brother inside that prom, I wouldn't have ripped the suit off because I paid for it. So you
but
can't
at any point, he could have said to me, I don't want to go to the prom with you. Or he could have said, after I made the arrangements for him to go get the tux fitting, he could have said, I'm not going. I don't want to go to the prom with you.
Getting your brother to pay for his tux, which he probably couldn't afford anyway, getting someone else's brother to pay for your tux and you're going to take somebody else to the prom and show up is diabolical. It is super villain level evil for you to be able to do that. And yeah, you should have called your brothers or at least some of the fellas from the neighborhood, somebody. He needed his ass whooped that night for doing that. Even though being 16, 17 years old.
He was a little stupid.
You dumb.
But truthfully, had I told the dudes in my neighborhood, it probably would have went down a little differently.
You should have.
I should have probably told the fellas.
You should have. That's terrible. And to this day, I think about that story when you tell me that, and it makes me sad, and it makes me want to whoop that dude's ass. And it's not just, and that's a different scenario than getting stood up on smash dates. Smash dates is smash dates, but,
Prom, you only get 2?
I mean, well, some people didn't get but 1.
Yeah. Prom is one of those things that you remember forever. I will never forget that experience. I will never forget the fact that I was stood up for prom, and I never got a reason. I did get an apology. I'll be honest with you, that apology didn't really matter at that point. I was real good and grown, but it didn't really matter. But it did acknowledge that he at least knew it was kind of a shitty thing to do, that he apologized, because I actually wondered for years if he thought that anything was wrong with it.
The girl's probably ugly. I'm sorry.
She wasn't ugly. She wasn't from Clinton, though. She was a Jackson girl, because I don't think anybody in Clinton would have done that.
Maybe. That's terrible. The fact of the matter is, don't play with people's time. And, to this gentleman who got stood up on this date.
That could have ended terribly.
Yeah. I hope all of the good things that could possibly happen to him happen to him. You just haven't found your person yet. You will find your person. And sometimes, when you are looking for something so vigorously, it doesn't come to you right away. Just keep living your life, keep doing your comedy, keep, being happy in your pursuits. And the woman that wants you will approach you, or you will approach her, and you will have that relationship. It will come to you. There's somebody out there for you. But just don't stand people up. Again, I can't stress that enough. Just call. Even if it's going to be awkward, even if you're going to feel bad, it's better to have that awkward moment than to have somebody sitting and waiting on you, because you wouldn't want that to happen to you. So at the end of the day, don't do it to somebody else.
So speaking of relationships lasting and finding the right person for you, did you see the post that Tina, Beyonce's mother, and
I didn't see the post. I see that they're getting a divorce, but I didn't see the post.
They're getting divorced. And so there's now talk on the internet about the fact that a lot of couples from the Black Love show, you remember that show?
I saw that show.
Are now divorced. And, Megan and her husband, Tia Mowry and the Hardwick guy, LaToya Luckett and her husband. And I think it's one more. I can't really put my finger on who that couple is. But I saw a post that said, stop doing together things on the internet. It's a curse, especially as a couple. Now, we do this as a couple.
Yeah, we do.
So, first of all, I don't buy into it, but I would love to know your thoughts about that. Because I say the same thing about reality TV and those wives and husbands on there. A lot of them get divorced too.
I don't think any of those marriages and any of those unions, I don't think that they were ever really stemmed in love. I think Tina Knowles, an old dude. I think, he was an actor. He's been in Hollywood. He's been on shit before. And she has a particular lifestyle that she wanted to lead. And she had a particular type of dude that she was used to, of course, after being married to Beyonce's dad. And Buddy fit the bill. I think Devin Franklin was a celebrity pastor. He wasn't just he was a celebrity, whatever he was. I don't think did he actually have a church?
I believe he has a church. He's a pastor for sure.
So, he was already a celebrity pastor. Megan Good was already an actress. Tia and her husband were both actors and actresses. They were already in Hollywood. LaToya Luckett, I don't know what her husband did. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have any
idea. It was like I'd never seen him before. Oh, Niecy Nash and her husband were on there too.
Yeah.
But Niecy clearly had
other things going on and other
different reasons.
Other pursuits.
Yeah.
She loves with a wide net, as they say.
She's free to love. She's free to love.
She has a lot of love to give everyone. She has a wide net, which is cool at the end of the day.
It's
but
great.
And I see stuff like that all the time. I saw something the other day that said couples that are happy don't post about each other a lot on the internet. The couples that are actually struggling and faking it are the ones that post all the time. We don't overly do it. I think we do it. I think it's natural and I think it's organic. and I don't think twice of it.
Yeah, I post what I feel. If I feel in that moment like posting about you, and sometimes it be mushy, like heart drenching, pouring out my heart stuff that I'll post. But I also post when you done got on my nerves. So
on the sly, by the way,
it ain't
if y'all
really that
wanna,
slick. It ain't really that slick.
no, it'd be not for me. Because it'd be 5 minutes after we had got through arguing and you put it up. So it ain't slick for me. I know
Baby,
exactly what you're saying. You go right to the internet.
It be for you. It be for you.
I don't be looking at that shit.
You just said you see
Okay, I'll be looking at it. But what I'm
Okay,
saying
then.
is I don't be paying it no mind because you really should just, you shouldn't
I
have
know.
to take it there.
I can't. Listen, that's what I do. And it might not be the right thing to do.
It's not the right thing
but
to do.
I'm going to tell you
that.
in the moment that you would do well to take me putting it on there instead of saying it to your face.
I'm not going to look at it like that. I just
Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, do you think that being on the internet or being on the show or being together publicly on the social media curses your relationship?
No, it doesn't.
Tell the people why, baby.
It doesn't. It's just a coincidence. With these shows, with these celebrity marriages, Denzel's still with his wife. He takes her out. Samuel L. Jackson is with his wife. A lot of people are still with their wives that they have had all of these years. The difference is in a lot of instances that one of them is not in the spotlight, or they have a marriage that started before they got into the business and before they became huge stars, and they're entrenched. And I think these new celebrity marriages, I just don't think they have the same anchor, the same tent post. I want to use the tent post from King of Queens. They don't have the same tent post that a lot of successful relationships and marriages do. They don't have the same tent post. It's not coming from the same place. And a lot of these instances, these couples are trying to push themselves out there and to be a part of all this and to make
accept us. Yes. We're a real couple.
And I think with us, yes, we do have a podcast together. Yes, we do host events together. Yes, we are on panels together. We do that because we consider ourselves to be a team and a unit. But it's not something that we pursued. It's something that just comes to us organically. This podcast that we don't do this because of likes and views. We don't do this because we've got a lot of ad dollars. We don't do this because we make money. We do this because we have conversations in our home that we've had with people that come over here, we go out and we share them with you guys. And that's just something that we just organically wanted to do. We didn't get together and hey, let's put a podcast together and let's go out and let's try to get on the YouTube and let's try to get viral and go famous and let's go out and do all this stuff together so that we can be a power couple. That's not, we didn't sit down and plan and plot to do these things. We like doing things together. We work well together. This is my best friend. We laugh, we joke together. So what we do is just organic. So if you don't like it, if it's too much for you, cool. We don't give a fuck because this is just what we do at the end of the day. So I don't know about any curse particularly, but when you're on those shows like Black Love and all that, they need to go get popular couples. If the Black Love show went and got, other couples in happy relationships and talk to them instead of trying to get celebrities all the time because they know that they were going to get views or whatever the case is, then, this coincidence that's happening might not actually happen at the end of the day. I never thought that Megan Good was going to stay with old dude. I never thought that Tina Knowles and old dude was going to stay together. I never thought that. I didn't really follow Tia and her husband too much, but it was apparent upon the split that Tia had been thinking about being single for a long time. She was just tired of being married. And there's that. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, no, I don't think so.
that being a celebrity comes with a lot of hardship, a lot of people in your business saying the right thing at the right time, being at the right place at the right time. I'm sure people throwing hate at you about your man and your woman and whatnot. And in order to make it through that, your relationship has to have a solid foundation. It can't be built on quicksand because you're going to get swallowed up. And I think that's what happens. I don't buy into the curse because the same thing happens whether you're publicly talking about your relationship or not. So basically,
those marriages wasn't gonna make it anyway, whether they was on the show or not.
Well, I don't know that, but I do know that being in the public eye did not contribute successfully to the marriage. You know, if they weren't in the public eye and they didn't have some of the things that come with it that obviously sunk their relationship, then they may have made it. Who knows? You know, but
and you got to understand too, when people see love, it offends a lot of people.
And that's crazy, but it's true.
It is. It's true. Love really offends people, and it really pisses people off.
That's so sad.
Because, you know, even when we do our events and the stuff that we do, we know absolutely, positively, that there are people that see this podcast every week, or they'll read posts, or they'll see us together. And I know it just pisses them off.
It's some people right there, right now, just logged off because we're talking about them.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that people are offended by love in that fashion. Maybe that's because, you know, maybe that's why the world is in the state that it's in, because people don't really love like that. They're jaded and they're cynical. You know, look at them. They think they're perfect. Who do they think they are? And I know he doing this and I know she doing that and all that kind of stuff. I mean, just appreciate love and love.
I had a friend tell me when we first started doing the podcast, somebody that I love dearly from the bottom of my heart took the time to send me a message to tell me that I needed to be careful because everybody is not celebrating us, and everybody is not, especially people that you think are. Be careful. So what she said was, be careful about the people that you automatically assume are cheering for you, because they aren't. And that was devastating to hear, but it wasn't a surprise.
It's the truth. I mean, I think
it's definitely the truth.
For what I have been doing in my professional life and being in the music business and doing what I do, and it's been that way for years, and that's just the way it is. Everybody is not going to celebrate you, and a lot of times it's the people that's closest to you that are not going to celebrate you. But the thing is, we don't do it for people to celebrate us. We don't do it for your approval. We don't do it for your cheerleading on the sidelines, and we don't do it for your entertainment or enjoyment. When we are transparent and when we talk about what we talk about on this podcast, we're doing it because it's what we want to do, and it's because it's what's in our heart, and it's real and it's authentic, and that's why people fuck with us. And then at the same time, that's why a lot of people don't fuck with us, is because we're real and we're transparent. And, you know, fuck what you think, really, at the end of the day. If you're not celebrating it, again, it really, it's not like, oh my God, they're not celebrating it, we're going to stop doing it. No, no, that's not going to happen. So if that's what you're doing it for, no, you're going to continue to see. And it's a real simple premise with social media. If you don't want to see it, just keep scrolling or block it. You can block our pages.
You can snooze.
You can snooze it. You know, if you don't want to, you know, be outed for blocking folks, you can snooze and you can mute. You can do all of that. You don't have to watch it. You know what I'm saying? We're not for everyone, and every couple is not for everyone. But, you know. And
we definitely understand the Franklins are an acquired taste. We're an acquired taste for each other, so we know we are for the general public. But the whole point to the podcast for me is to spark conversation. It is because some of the stuff that we talk about openly here, people are uncomfortable having these conversations in their homes with their partners. Mm-hmm. And so we hope that by having these conversations here on this platform, that it encourages people to start having conversations within their own homes with their own person. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why it's important for us to do this, for me.
And most importantly, for those of you who are not celebrating it, you're right. We're not perfect. We are two flawed individuals. We are fucked up, the both of us, but we work on it together. So if you think that this is a facade or they not perfect, you are exactly right. We are two fucked up individuals trying to figure it out and trying to work it out. I'm fucked up. I'm just gonna tell you.
I ain't fucked up. I've been fucked up, but I do the work.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing the work, but we're not perfect. And I will
Definitely
admit,
not perfect.
I'm fucked up. I got a lot of stuff that I got to fix. I got a lot of stuff that I do wrong. I'm not the perfect husband, and I'm not the perfect father, and I'm working on it, and I'm trying to get there. But the thing of it is I'm not finna fake and flies and tell you anything other than that. I tell you that right now, and we're working to get it right. And I think the difference in a lot of instances is that we are actually working on it and working to try to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. So no, we're not perfect. We don't think that we're all of that, and we don't think that we're better than anybody else. We're terrible. And some of the conversations and arguments that you hear inside of this household, you probably say, see, I told you so.
Baby, you got to be careful with some of the words you use. We are not terrible. I know you're trying to make a point, but
I'm just
words
making a point.
matter.
You know what I'm saying? We're not, again, we're not super villains, but we're not perfect. And, we get mad, we say things, we act out, we do all of that. All of that happens. And that's what happens in healthy marriages and in healthy relationships. And that's the thing that we just try to say all the time. So anyway, there's that. So, the curse of the Black Love Show, I don't know. I don't think those marriages are going to work.
Because there's a whole lot of marriages and couples that are still together from the show. Just,
so
FYI.
they cherry picked, as they do on social media, they cherry picked 4 or 5 marriages out of the tens of marriages that they've had on there, 40, 50 people that have been on that show. They picked out 4 of them, 5 of them to say, oh, look, it's a curse. Oh no, that's really par for the course. That's a percentage. That's about what, 10, 11, 12% of the total right there that didn't make it. That's a little bit below the average in America, because I think close to half of the marriages don't stay together. But as far as that show is concerned, that's par for the course. Percentage wise, that's right on point. So, you cherry picking the people that didn't make it.
Well, that's because they talk about the ones that don't make it. They don't talk about the ones that
they don't talk about the ones. They talk about the ones that made it. Go back and talk about the ones that are still together. Talk about the ones that made it. So, do that. But at any rate, we're going to get on out of here. We appreciate you guys, of course, for tuning in. We got one more show to go on season 2. And then we're going to take a little break, and we're going to come back, man, and revamp things and go bigger for season 3. But we got one more episode. The season finale is coming up, episode 50. So
don't miss it, y'all.
Yeah, make sure you tune in for that.
We're going to be taking a shot for every question he get wrong.
That has not been discussed, first of all, and I don't have any idea what we're going to do for 50 just yet.
Telling y'all now.
So tune in, as you usually do. We won't say anything. There might be something surprising. But anyway, according to Kaz and Queen, I'm Kaz.
And I'm Queen.
I'll let you guys know.
Peace.